In this video, you will learn about all the monarchs and their armies. The Monarch of White Flames, a demon named Baran. His appearance was terrifying, massive and muscular with gray skin, glowing white eyes, and flame-like white hair. 4 horns crowned his head, and his tail and heavy armor completed his demonic image. Later, when recreated as the final boss of the demon castle, he appeared with red eyes and no helmet. Baran was cruel and hot-headed. He feared nothing, not even death, standing his ground against the Shadow Monarch despite the vast difference in power. Until the very end, he refused to reveal his intentions. He was a true warrior, despising weakness and defeat. As one of the 9 monarchs, Baran possessed immense power. His blows could stagger even jinwoo, and his speed and endurance rivaled that of other monarchs. He wielded lightning breath, capable of stunning enemies and used both for AoE devastation or concentrated strikes. He could also summon his demonic army directly from hell. Baran's army was a hellish hierarchy built on raw power. It included low-rank demons, the weakest of the race. Above them were mid-rank demons, already dangerous foes. Those who consumed the blood of demon nobles evolved into transcendent mid-level demons, roughly as strong as A-rank hunters. Then came the high-rank demons, the elite warriors, and at the top stood the demon kings and queens, with Baran reigning supreme. His army consisted of several clans: Garsh, Pathos, Radiru, Ricado, and Herschel. High-ranking demons were intelligent and calculating. Low-ranking ones were savage, beast-like creatures. In the end, Baran wasn't just a demon king, he was the ultimate ruler of his kind. Fearless, merciless, and backed by an army capable of annihilating worlds. Even in death, his name still inspires dread. The Queen of Insects and Monarch of Plagues, Queretia, tall and alluring with pale skin, crimson eyes, and flowing black hair. Her greenish-black armor left her shoulders and chest exposed, emphasizing both her elegance and menace. Insect-like features covered her limbs, making her a terrifying fusion of woman and creature. Queretia was bloodthirsty and cruel, yet showed a maternal affection toward her minions. She called them her children and behaved possessively, especially toward Baru, treating him like a son who had been taken from her. A sadist to her enemies and a mother to her monstrous swarm. Her power was overwhelming. She could restrain Baru with ease and injure jinwoo with a single blow. Queretia created giant glowing green hands from mana, secreted a deadly toxin, reanimated corpses through parasitic control, and rapidly regenerated from even fatal injuries. She could also transform into a monstrous form with many limbs and bind others with an unbreakable truth spell. Her army was a crawling nightmare of magical insects. Giant ants from Jeju Island, spiders that spat acid and spun deadly webs, venomous centipedes, sandworms, and scorpions. The ants had a hierarchy, from workers and soldiers to a king and queen. They were so powerful that even S-rank hunters were forced to retreat, leaving Jeju in isolation. Queretia embodied death through instinct. Deadly yet loving, she commanded swarms that devoured everything in their path. Her every appearance meant terror for humanity. Ligia, the king of giants and monarch of the beginning, a towering, muscular figure with bluish-gray skin and glowing red eyes. Dressed only in a tattered white loincloth, he looked like an ancient barbarian. He was the hidden boss of the Tokyo S-rank gate. Ligia was cunning and deceptive. He tried to trick jinwoo into releasing him and laughed maniacally when he realized another monarch had found him. His bizarre sense of humor mixed with dangerous intelligence made him a formidable foe. As a monarch, Ligia possessed immense power. His physical strength rivaled the strongest fighters. He could cast the Pledge of Trust spell, binding 2 parties so they couldn't lie to each other. He was also capable of gate creation and manifesting his spiritual body. His army of giants was terrifying. These massive humanoid beasts were as large as buildings, wore armor, had horns, and were surprisingly fast and agile. A single giant could overpower an S-rank hunter, while a supergiant could shatter barriers and destroy elite shadow soldiers like Jima and Tusk with ease. Ligia embodied primal power and destruction. His release could have spelled disaster, and only Jinwoo's intervention prevented chaos on a global scale. Tarnak, the king of monstrous humanoids and the monarch of Iron Body. Tall, muscular, and charismatic, he stood out not just for his appearance. His white coat with a blood-red collar, golden shoulder pads, and piercing green eyes revealed a warrior with immense pride. When using his powers or agitated, his eyes glowed with a toxic lime-green light. Tarnak's personality was a mix of arrogance and cold calculation. He viewed humans as inferior beings and dismissed Jinwoo as unworthy of becoming the next Shadow Monarch simply because he was human. Yet, despite his overwhelming pride, Tarnak was smart enough to recognize that he stood no chance against Jinwoo without Antares' help. His willpower was exceptional. He was the only disciple of Ammit who survived the hellish training regime. Tarnak possessed a fearsome set of abilities. He could communicate telepathically with the other monarchs, open gates, utilize the iron body technique, and transform into a monstrous golem covered in dark armor with blazing green hair. His physical power and defense were overwhelming. But Tarnak's greatest weapon was his army. Under his command marched thousands of monstrous humanoids, the most diverse and tactically versatile force among all the monarchs. These creatures ranged from primitive goblins and orcs to highly intelligent mages, assassins, knights, and archers. Magically gifted humanoids could cast spells and set traps, while the strongest ones were capable of speaking human languages. All of them used tools and weapons and often hunted in coordinated groups. The army included powerful beings such as earth golems, stone giants, and legendary warriors like Kargalgan and Groktar. Their strength often determined their level of intelligence, from mindless brutes to cunning, strategic fighters. They were fast, fierce, and deadly. Tarnak's army was a terrifying blend of beastly strength and human intellect. It was a perfect force for prolonged warfare, chaotic yet organized, savage yet smart. And although Tarnak himself was defeated, his army remains a symbol of raw, unrelenting power. Silid, the king of snowfolk and the Monarch of Frost, a muscular yet elderly elf. Silid's appearance was as cold and intimidating as the powers he commanded. With blue skin, long silver hair, and blank white eyes, his presence exuded both age and strength. Personality-wise, Silid was cocky and condescending, never one to doubt his superiority. He disliked unnecessary conflict, preferring efficiency over pointless brutality, as shown when he swiftly incapacitated humans on Jeju Island rather than engaging in a long battle. However, his arrogance sometimes led to recklessness. When confronted with stronger opponents such as Jinwoo, Silad's panic and impatience became apparent, urging the other monarchs to aid him in a dangerous pursuit without considering the risks. As a monarch, Silad possessed a wide array of impressive abilities. His immense strength allowed him to go toe-to-toe with powerful opponents like Go Gun Hee, and even push Jinwoo to his limits with sheer force. His speed was exceptional, able to dodge attacks and apply pressure in battle with lightning-fast movements. His durability was equally notable, withstanding heavy blows without faltering. Silid's magic capabilities were devastating. He could summon ice storms, create weapons and monsters out of ice, and unleash torrents of ice breath. His spiritual body manifestation gave him a youthful and more powerful appearance. Silid's army consisted of ice elves, a race of highly intelligent elves with a chilling appearance, blue skin, white hair, and piercing white eyes. These elves were skilled fighters, proficient with bows and daggers, and could infuse their arrows with ice magic. Their tactical abilities allowed them to ambush and attack from a distance, making them deadly foes. Their sadistic nature made them ruthless in battle, and they shared a collective ability to use stealth, ensuring that even in cold, unforgiving environments, they would always have the upper hand. In conclusion, Silad's combination of immense power and his ruthless ice elf army makes him a terrifying monarch. His abilities in ice magic and his tactical army ensure that he is a force to be reckoned with in any battle. Yogamont, the king of demonic specters and the Monarch of Transfiguration, is one of the 9 powerful monarchs. He appears as an elderly man with gray hair, light red eyes, and a disturbing blood-red symbol on his torso. Dressed in a tattered dark purple cloak and a pale yellow bone-like mask covering his mouth, he radiates an eerie presence. 2 metallic, horn-like extensions protrude from his upper back, and his eyes glow a haunting pinkish purple when he's using his powers or becomes agitated. In terms of personality, Yogamont is prideful and cold, looking down on humanity with contempt. He referred to Sung Il-hwan as a weakling, not even deeming him worthy of a fight. However, his arrogance doesn't cloud his judgment completely. He was wise enough to understand that challenging Jinwoo without Antares' help would be futile. Yogamont possesses formidable abilities. He can levitate effortlessly and open multiple purple gates to transport himself and his army across worlds. His spiritual body manifestation further enhances his power, transforming his body into a more fearsome form suited for battle. Yogamont commands the demonic specters, a terrifying race of disembodied spirits that seek to possess bodies. These specters are not just mindless ghosts. They are cunning, malevolent beings who thrive on taking control of others. Though not much is known about their individual abilities, the nature of their possession-based combat makes them a uniquely dangerous force on the battlefield. In summary, Yogamont's terrifying presence, strategic mind, and spectral army make him a formidable formidable monarch. While he may avoid direct confrontation, his powers and army are built for infiltration and possession, making him a hidden threat lurking in the shadows. Rakan, the king of beasts and the Monarch of Fangs, is one of the 9 powerful monarchs. He appears as a muscular young man with tanned skin, wild black hair, glowing yellow eyes that turn bright red when using his powers. His outfit consists of silver furs, a ragged skirt with a thick fur waistband, and white armor with golden trims on his shoulder and waist. Rakan is a savage and arrogant predator by nature. He despises humans and takes pleasure in hunting the weak. His bloodlust is evident, tearing through anyone who crosses his path. However, despite his brutality, he's a coward at heart, often retreating when facing a stronger opponent. He's also a hypocrite, calling others cowards while acting the same. As a monarch, Rakan possesses overwhelming strength. He fought Thomas Andre evenly while holding back and could wound Jinwoo with his claws. His abilities include super speed, immense durability, telekinesis, regeneration, gate creation by tearing space, and partial or full transformation into a giant white wolf. Rakan's army is a wild force of nature. It includes werewolves, fast and strong beasts that hunt in packs, coordinating attacks from flanks, steel-fanged wolves, dangerous predators with jaws that pierce armor, especially lethal in groups, blade-clawed brigas, magical ape-like beasts that ambush enemies from ceilings or shadows, razans, panther-like creatures that use speed and group tactics for coordinated strikes, white bears, the embodiment of raw power, tearing enemies apart with brute strength. These beasts don't just follow Rakan, they share his primal hunting instinct. Their tactics are based on ambushes, overwhelming numbers, and close combat domination. Rakan is a predator in warrior form, and his army is the savage embodiment of nature. In their world, if you're not a hunter, you're prey. Ashborn, the king of the dead and the Monarch of Shadows. One of the oldest and most powerful beings, he was also known as the greatest fragment of brilliant light. In his monarch form, he appeared as a massive warrior with blazing purple hair, glowing eyes, black horns, and a body cloaked in shadow. As a ruler, he was a noble white knight with bright wings, silver hair, and a shining sword. Ashborn was a rare exception among monarchs. He did not crave destruction. On the contrary, he valued life and longed for peace. Torn by the endless war between monarchs and rulers, he eventually chose to pass his powers to a human, hoping that this successor would end the bloodshed once and for all. Even after learning the truth of his origin, he remained loyal to the absolute being. As the Monarch of Shadows, Ashborn wielded absolute control over darkness. He could manipulate shadows, extract them from corpses, teleport through them instantly, and strengthen his army during battle. His telepathy, telekinesis, and shapeshifting made him nearly invincible. His power was so immense that he could wipe out armies and overwhelm even other monarchs with brute force. Ashborn's army is the Shadow Legion, fallen warriors reborn as obedient soldiers who feel no pain, fear, or fatigue. With each battle, their numbers grow as every fallen enemy can be resurrected into his ranks. And thanks to his ability to empower them mid-fight, his army becomes a nightmare for any opponent. Ashborn is the embodiment of darkness fighting for the light, powerful, wise, and tragic. He doesn't seek to destroy the world, but to save it. Antares, the king of dragons and Monarch of Destruction. The oldest and strongest among all 9 monarchs, he is the final antagonist of solo leveling. He appears as a tall, muscular, middle-aged man with long crimson hair, a short red beard, glowing red eyes, and dark red claws. His reddish-silver armor and brownish-red tailcoat emphasize his regal and devastating presence. Antares' personality is a mix of pride, confidence, and an insatiable thirst for destruction. He despises humanity and doesn't hesitate to commit genocide if it means drawing out the Shadow Monarch. Yet, despite his violent nature, Antares holds a twisted sense of honor. He's willing to negotiate with those who impress him in battle. Antares also cares deeply for his subordinates and despises those who exploit them for experiments. As the Monarch of Destruction, Antares wields unimaginable power, monstrous strength, speed, and durability. His breath of destruction is a hellish fire blast that incinerates S-rank hunters in an instant. He commands fire magic, telepathy, shape-shifting, spatial rift creation, and can transform into a colossal red dragon with searing scales. His battle forms are the embodiment of terror and absolute dominance. Antares' army is a world-ending force. Monarchs. Leading it are dozens of ancient dragons, intelligent, magical beings with power rivaling gods. Behind them are hundreds of standard dragons, each capable of annihilating entire armies. Finally, tens of thousands of lesser dragons swarm the skies, overwhelming enemies like a living storm. This army doesn't fight battles, it erases civilizations. Antares is destruction incarnate, and his army is the end itself. He doesn't simply conquer, he unravels entire worlds. Only one stands a chance against him, the one unafraid to stare death in the face. Jinwoo, the main protagonist of solo leveling, began as the weakest E-rank hunter. However, his life changed when he became the player of the system, which allowed him to grow in power without limits. After inheriting the power of Ashborn, Jinwoo became the second Shadow Monarch, gaining near unlimited strength, making him one of the most powerful beings in the world. Jinwoo possesses immense physical strength, speed, and endurance. He can deliver devastating blows and withstand massive damage. Thanks to his mastery of martial arts, he surpasses even the most experienced opponents. His arsenal includes umbrakinesis, the power to control shadows, as well as memory manipulation and hypnosis. He can open gates to other worlds, use an unlimited inventory, and communicate with the monsters under his command. Jinwoo's Shadow Army is composed of beings resurrected through his Shadow Extraction ability, and the army passed on to him by Ashborn. These entities serve him with unwavering loyalty, and their strength depends on the power of their original forms. Among his strongest shadows are Grand Marshal Bellion, a powerful warrior and strategic leader, Marshal Baru, the former Ant King, Marshal Igris, known for his high endurance, Marshal Tusk, who possesses overwhelming magical power, General Greed, the shadow of a former S-rank hunter, and Elite Knight Iron, a resilient fighter with excellent combat skills. Jinwoo's army is nearly invincible thanks to their regeneration and loyalty. These shadows can return to battle even after being destroyed, making Jinwoo's army one of the strongest and most devoted forces capable of handling any threat. Each monarch has their own army, methods, and goals. But whose army is the most deadly? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos.